The stars looked peaceful from the observation deck of the Valiran Council Station. Gentle blue lights flickered across the control panels as the Valirans moved quietly through their daily routines. They were a kind species, tall and slim with large eyes that sparkled with curiosity. For 300 years, they had been sending messages into the dark void of space, hoping to find friends among the stars. Today felt different. Council leader Thresh stood before the main communication array, his long fingers dancing across the holographic display. The signals they had been tracking for months were finally clear enough to decode. Somewhere out in the distant reaches of space, a civilization was broadcasting. Music, voices, stories, all floating through the cosmic darkness like bottles in an endless ocean. "They sound beautiful," Thresh said softly to his assistant. "Listen to their songs. Such emotion, such depth." The other Valirans gathered around, their minds linking in the gentle, telepathic way of their people. They shared feelings of joy and excitement. Finally, after so long, they had found someone to talk to. The broadcasts spoke of love, hope, dreams, and something the translators called art. Surely these were people of peace and wisdom. Thresh made his decision. "Prepare the friendship beacon. We will invite them to our home." The friendship beacon was ancient technology, discovered in ruins on a dead moon decades ago. The Valirans had never used it, saving it for a special moment. What better time than now? The device would create a quantum pathway, making travel easier for their new friends. It would show them the way home. They activated the beacon. Across the galaxy, Admiral Do-hyun Park was having a normal day at the Pacific Defense Command. He sat in his office reviewing supply reports and training schedules. Earth had been exploring space for 50 years now, and every day brought new challenges. New planets to catalog, new minerals to study, new empty systems to map. Then the alarms started screaming. Do-hyun ran to the command center. Officers shouted over each other, trying to make sense of what they were seeing. A massive energy surge had appeared on every scanner. It wasn't natural. It wasn't random. It was pointed directly at Earth. "What am I looking at?" Do-hyun demanded. "Unknown energy pattern, sir," Lieutenant Hyun Kang reported, his fingers flying across his console. "It's some kind of quantum transmission. The power signature is... It's incredible. Nothing we've seen before. Is it a weapon? We don't know. It could be anything." Do-hyun felt his jaw tighten. First contact protocols existed for a reason. Unknown meant dangerous until proven otherwise. "Send a standard response, military encryption. Let them know we received their signal." "Sir, maybe we should wait for the diplomatic team." "Now, Lieutenant." The message went out. Earth's computers translated it to the best of their ability. Signal received. Forces deploying to investigate. It was standard military language, direct and clear. But something went wrong in the translation. The Valirans received the message and celebrated. Their new friends had accepted. They were coming. Thresh ordered preparations for the greatest festival their people had ever seen. They would show these humans the beauty of peace, the joy of friendship, the wonder of shared knowledge. They had no idea what was actually coming. Captain Ji-ho Kim stood on the bridge of the UES Indomitable, Earth's largest warship. He was a career officer, 45 years old, with short black hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. Behind him, the Pacific Defense Fleet prepared for deployment. 24 ships, each one built for protection and power. "Captain, we have our orders," said Commander Taewon Han, walking up with a datapad. "Admiral Park wants us ready for anything, full combat loadout." Ji-ho nodded. "This could be first contact, Taewon, or it could be a trap. We prepare for both." Beside him, Chief Science Officer Hana Choi studied her instruments. She was younger than Ji-ho, brilliant, with an endless curiosity about the universe. "The energy signature is stable now. It's like a road, Captain, a pathway through space. Someone built this for us." "Or to lure us in," Ji-ho said quietly. "Always so suspicious," Hana smiled. "Always alive," Ji-ho replied. Sora Lee was in the diplomatic section, preparing for every possible scenario. She was a specialist in languages and culture, trained to handle first contact situations. But even she felt nervous. This was it. This was the moment humanity had dreamed about. They were going to meet aliens. She checked her equipment one more time. Universal translator, cultural database, emergency beacon. She hoped she wouldn't need any of it. She hoped these aliens were friendly. She hoped they understood that humans came in peace. But peace didn't mean unprepared. All ships report ready, Captain, Taewon announced. Jiho took a deep breath. Through the main view screen, he could see the other ships of the fleet. Carriers, destroyers, support vessels. Each one carried hundreds of people who trusted him to bring them home safely. Take us in, Jiho ordered. Standard defensive formation. Weapons ready but not armed. Let's go meet our neighbors. The fleet entered the quantum pathway. On the Valairan Council Station, Thresh watched the sensors with growing confusion. The readings didn't make sense. The human ships were appearing on their scopes, but the numbers were wrong. 24 vessels? That couldn't be right. Why would anyone need so many ships for a friendly visit? Then he saw the first ship emerge from the pathway. The Indomitable was 3 kilometers long. Its hull was dark gray, covered in armor plating and sensor arrays. Gun ports lined its sides. Launch bays held fighter craft. It looked like nothing Thresh had ever seen. It looked like violence made metal. By the light, someone whispered. What is that? More ships appeared. Each one was massive. Each one was armed. Thresh felt something he hadn't experienced in his long life. Fear. Cold and sharp, it ran through his mind like ice water. These weren't explorers. These weren't scientists. These were warriors. Open a channel, Thresh said, his voice shaking. Now. On the Indomitable, Jiho received the incoming transmission. The face that appeared on his screen was alien but clearly terrified. Large eyes, pale skin, trembling hands. This is Captain Jiho Kim of Earth, he said calmly. We received your signal. We came to investigate. The alien stared at him, at his forward-facing eyes, at his teeth when he spoke, at the casual way he stood on a ship designed for war. Investigate, Thresh whispered. We invited you as friends. Jiho frowned. Your signal appeared on our space as an unknown energy surge. We responded with standard protocols. Standard protocols? Behind Jiho, the rest of the fleet moved into position around the station. To the humans, it was a defensive formation. To the Valairans, it looked like they were being surrounded. Thresh understood then. They had made a terrible mistake. They had wanted friends. They had summoned Earth's fleet instead. The Valairan Council Station had never seen so much activity. Aliens from 12 different species ran through the corridors, their minds filled with panic. Emergency protocols that hadn't been used in centuries suddenly activated. Blast doors sealed. Life support systems went to maximum. Every civilian rushed to the evacuation ships. Thresh tried to maintain calm, but his hands wouldn't stop shaking. Through the massive windows of the command center, he could see the human fleet. Each ship hung in space like a predator, silent and deadly. The smallest human vessel was larger than the station's entire defense satellite. Council leader, they're requesting permission to dock, his assistant said. Dock? Here? One small ship. They say it's for diplomatic purposes. Thresh looked at the other council members. The Quellan representative had already fainted. The Morthian ambassador was praying to ancient gods. Only Vesa, the ancient Trill observer, seemed calm. Let them come, Vesa said in her crackling voice. We cannot run from this. We called them here. We didn't know, Thresh protested. The broadcast showed music, art, poetry. And you assumed only peaceful beings create beauty, Vesa said. We will meet them. We will learn. And perhaps we will survive. On the Indomitable, Sora Lee prepared for the most important meeting of her life. She wore formal Earth diplomatic attire, simple, clean, professional, nothing threatening. She had argued against bringing weapons, but Commander Taewon Han had insisted on a small security detail. Just 3 Marines, Taewon said. They'll stay by the shuttle. Protocol. Sora. They'll terrify everyone. Everything about us terrifies them, Taewon replied. At least the Marines will be polite. Pilot Yuna Shin flew the diplomatic shuttle with easy confidence. She was small for a pilot, but her skills were legendary in the fleet. Approaching the docking bay now. These aliens really like blue lights. Everything's glowing blue. It's pretty, Sora said. It's impractical for combat visibility, muttered Sergeant Yejun Park from the back. He was one of the Marines, a big man with kind eyes and hands that could crush steel. We're not here for combat, Sora reminded him. Ma'am, we're always here for combat. We just hope we don't need to be. The shuttle landed softly. Sora took a deep breath and stepped out. The docking bay was beautiful. Gentle lights created patterns on the walls. Strange plants grew in crystal containers. Water flowed in floating streams, defying gravity. It was like stepping into a dream. Thresh waited with 5 other council members. When they saw Sora, their eyes went wide. She was small by human standards, barely 160 centimeters tall. Her black hair was pulled back in a simple style. She smiled, trying to appear friendly. To the Valorans, she looked like a monster from old nightmares. Her eyes faced forward. Predator eyes. Hunter eyes. Her mouth showed teeth when she smiled. Every species in the galaxy knew what that meant. Warning, threat, danger. She moved with casual confidence, comfortable in her own body, clearly at the top of her world's food chain. Greetings, Sora said, in carefully practiced universal standard. I am Sora Lee, diplomatic envoy from Earth. We come in peace and friendship, Thresh managed to speak. Welcome, Sora Lee. I am Thresh, leader of the Valerian Council. We are honored by your presence. They moved to a conference room. Sora sat across from the council members, noting how they all kept maximum distance from her. A table separated them. She recognized fear when she saw it. I think there's been a misunderstanding, Sora began gently. Can you tell me about your message? What did you intend? Thresh explained about the broadcasts, the beacon, the invitation. As he spoke, Sora's expression changed from confusion to understanding, to concern. Oh no, she whispered. You thought we were… Oh no. You are not artists and philosophers? Vesa asked. We are, Sora said quickly. But we're also many other things. Earth is… it's complicated. She pulled up her datapad and began showing images. Earth from space, blue and beautiful. The council members relaxed slightly. Then cities appeared. Massive structures of metal and glass. Billions of humans living in towering buildings. How many of your kind exist? Asked the Quellan representative, who had finally woken up. About 12 billion, Sora answered. The aliens made sounds of distress. 12 billion predators. 12 billion hunters. All from one planet. And your planet, Vesa said carefully. Tell us about your world, Sora explained. She tried to make Earth sound gentle, but every fact made things worse. Gravity was moderate, she said. The aliens learned it was twice what most species could survive. The atmosphere was breathable, she explained. They discovered it was rich in oxygen, a highly corrosive gas that most species considered toxic. Weather was variable, she noted. They realized variable meant massive storms, tornadoes, hurricanes that could destroy entire cities. And the life forms? Thresh asked weakly. Sora hesitated. Diverse. Very diverse. She showed them pictures. Lions, tigers, bears, sharks and crocodiles, snakes and spiders. Each image made the council members pull back further. These creatures, the Morthian ambassador said slowly, they share your world? Yes, we evolved alongside them. How did you survive? Sora smiled, and again they flinched at her teeth. We're persistence hunters. We're very good at not giving up. And we're intelligent. We learn to use tools, build communities, work together. You hunted these creatures? Vesa asked. Sometimes. More often we avoided them, or made peace with them. Humans have domesticated many species. We live with them as companions. The idea seemed to break something in the council's understanding. These humans had looked at the predators of their world and decided to make them into friends. What kind of species does that? Medical officer Naribai joined them next, offering to share information about human biology. This was meant to ease tensions. It did not. Nari explained human healing, how bones could break and repair themselves, how human immune systems fought off diseases that would kill other species, how humans had something called adrenaline that made them stronger and faster in danger. You have a chemical that makes you more dangerous when threatened? Thresh asked faintly. It's a survival mechanism, Nari said cheerfully. Chief Engineer Hyun Kang talked about human technology. He mentioned casually that the Indomitable's engines could destroy a small moon if they exploded, that humans had reactors that contained tiny pieces of stellar fire, that every ship carried enough firepower to crack a planet's crust. But we'd never do that, Hyun added quickly. That's just the capability. We use these tools for exploration and defense. Defense, Vesa repeated. From what? Hyun looked confused. From anything that might threaten us. Other humans, dangerous natural phenomena, potential hostile aliens. You know, threats. Your own kind threatens you? Well, yes. I mean, we have conflicts sometimes. Different nations, different ideologies, but we're working on it. We've had 70 years of relative peace. 70 years, Thresh said. You consider that a long time? For us? Yes. We used to fight a lot more. The council members looked at each other. These humans fought their own kind regularly. They lived on a world that tried to kill them daily. They had weapons that could destroy planets. And they had 12 billion of them. And somehow, they also created beautiful music. Later, back on the Indomitable, Sora reported to Captain Jiho Kim. They're terrified, sir. They think we're going to invade. Jiho rubbed his face tiredly. We came to make friends. We look like monsters to them, Captain. Forward-facing eyes, teeth, our size, our strength. Everything about us screams predator in their language. What do you recommend? Sora thought carefully. Honesty. We can't hide what we are. But we can show them who we are. Give them time. Let them see that humans can be gentle even when we're strong. And if they attack out of fear, then we show them why Earth has never been conquered, Taewon said quietly from the doorway. But I don't think they will. They're scared, not stupid. On the station, Thresh sat in his private quarters, reviewing everything they had learned. The humans were everything the old legends warned about. Deathworlders, apex predators, warriors born from a planet that bred only the strong. But they had also sent a diplomat first. They had shared information freely. They had shown concern for Valairan fear. Maybe, Thresh thought, there was hope after all. Or maybe the monsters were just being patient. 3 days had passed since the fleet arrived. 3 days of careful diplomacy, awkward conversations, and growing understanding. The council members were still afraid, but fear was slowly mixing with curiosity. Captain Jiho Kim had ordered most of the fleet to pull back, leaving only 3 ships near the station. It was meant as a gesture of goodwill. The council appreciated it but still noticed that 3 human warships had more firepower than their entire civilization's defense grid. Today was special. A cultural exchange had been arranged. A small group of humans would share a meal with the council. It was Sora's idea. Breaking bread together was an ancient human tradition for building trust. Remember, Sora told the crew members she had selected, no sudden movements. Smile with your mouth closed. Don't mention anything about Earth's dangerous animals unless asked. Pilot Yuna Shin raised her hand. What if they ask what we do for fun? Tell them about art, music, reading. But I like rock climbing. Yuna, please. And skydiving. Sora closed her eyes. Just try not to give them nightmares, okay? The dining hall was beautiful, decorated with living plants that glowed softly. The Valerians had prepared foods they thought humans might enjoy, based on their research. Fruits, grains, vegetables, all carefully tested to ensure they weren't toxic to human biology. The human delegation included Sora, Yuna, Medical Officer Nyari Bai, Engineer Hyun Kong, and Cultural Liaison Officer Yoonji Park. They sat across from Thresh and four other council members. At first, everything went well. The food was unusual but edible. Conversation was polite. The Valyrans asked about Earth's art, and Yunji shared beautiful images of paintings, sculptures, and architecture. They seemed relieved. Maybe these humans weren't so different after all. Then Thresh made a mistake. He asked about hobbies. I like to fly, Yuna said enthusiastically. In my spare time, I do aerobatic demonstrations. Loops, rolls, diving at high speed. It's wonderful. You enjoy diving? A council member asked. Oh yes, the faster the better. Last month I hit Mach 3 in a canyon run. Nearly clipped a rock formation. Best rush ever. The Valyrans stared at her. You deliberately flew close to rocks? At high speed? For enjoyment? Well, yeah, it's fun, Hyun Kong laughed. That's nothing. You should try deep-sea diving. I spent my leave at the Mariana Trench. 11 kilometers down, pitch black, pressure that could crush most ships. Saw some amazing creatures. You went to a place that could crush you, Thresh said slowly, for recreation. Sure, I mean, we had proper equipment. Nari decided to help. She didn't help. Humans enjoy challenging themselves. It's how we grow. Personally, I like marathon running. Running? From what? From nothing. Just running. 42 kilometers. Some people run even further. Hundreds of kilometers. Why would you run if nothing is chasing you? Nari thought about it. To prove we can, I suppose. The conversation spiraled from there. The Valyrans learned that humans climbed mountains because they're there. That humans jumped from aircraft with parachutes for fun. That humans had something called extreme sports, where the goal was to do dangerous things skillfully. But you could die, the Quellan representative said weakly. That's what makes it exciting, Yuna explained. Yunji tried to save the situation. We also enjoy peaceful activities, reading, gardening, meditation. I garden, Hyun said happily. I grow ghost peppers. They're painful to eat. Why do you grow food that causes pain? Because they taste good. The pain is part of the experience. Thresh was beginning to understand something troubling. Humans didn't just survive danger. They sought it out. They had evolved on a death world, and instead of fleeing, they had made danger into entertainment. Tell me, Vesa said in her ancient voice, what do humans fear? The humans looked at each other. Failure, Sora said finally. Letting down people we care about. Not being brave when it matters. Being forgotten. Not death? We fear death, Nari said, but we don't let it stop us from living. The meal continued, each revelation making the aliens more unsettled. They learned humans had survived multiple extinction events. That human history was full of disasters, plagues, wars. That humans had nearly destroyed themselves with atomic weapons and chose to step back from the edge. You created weapons that could end your species? Thresh asked. Yes, Sora admitted. It was our darkest moment, but we learned from it. We're still here. We chose survival over destruction. Your species makes that choice? Every species makes that choice, Yunji said quietly. We just had more opportunities to choose wrong. After the meal, disaster struck. A maintenance error in the station's filtration system released a chemical into the air. Alarms blared. The Valyrans evacuated immediately, their sensitive respiratory systems unable to handle the contamination. The humans stood in the corridor, confused. Should we evacuate too? Yuna asked. Hyun checked his scanner. It's ammonia-based. Unpleasant but not dangerous. Our masks will be fine. While the entire alien population huddled in sealed emergency pods, Hyun and 3 human engineers walked calmly through the contaminated sections. They wore basic breathing gear, nothing heavy, and worked to fix the filtration system. From the safety pods, the council watched in horror. The deadly chemical that was burning their eyes through the view screens didn't even slow the humans down. They worked carefully, efficiently, chatting casually about the problem. The sealant degraded, Hyun said over the comm. Common issue with this type of system. We'll have it fixed in 20 minutes. 20 minutes? Thresh whispered. They're working in that cloud like it's nothing. Maybe their suits are very advanced, suggested another council member. When the humans emerged, they pulled off their masks and breathed normally. The air was still slightly contaminated. It didn't matter. Human biology filtered it out easily. All fixed, Hyun reported cheerfully. You might want to upgrade these seals. I can show you a better design if you'd like. That night, Sora found Captain Ji-ho Kim in the observation deck, staring at the stars. They're terrified of us, sir. I noticed. Everything we tell them makes it worse. We're too strong, too dangerous, too different. Ji-ho nodded slowly. My grandfather fought in the last war. He told me something I never forgot. He said the scariest people aren't the ones who look dangerous. They're the ones who've seen darkness and chose light anyway. Sir? We are dangerous, Sora. We are strong. We come from a world that tried to kill us every day. But we're still here. And instead of becoming monsters, we became explorers. We reached for the stars hoping to find friends. They don't see it that way. Then we show them, every day, every interaction. We show them that humans can be trusted with power because we understand what it means to be powerless. Sora looked out at the station. What if they never trust us? Then we protect them anyway. That's what friends do. In his quarters, Thresh reviewed reports with Vesa. The old Trill had lived through 3 centuries and seen many species rise and fall. What do you think they want? Thresh asked. I think, Vesa said slowly, they want exactly what they say they want. Friendship, understanding, a place in the galaxy. But they're so dangerous. Yes, but danger doesn't equal evil, Thresh. I've seen empires built by gentle species who convinced themselves peace meant never acting. Those empires fell to anyone willing to use force. Perhaps the galaxy needs some danger. Perhaps we need protectors who understand violence but choose peace. You trust them? Vesa laughed, a dry crackling sound. Trust is earned. But I have hope. They could have attacked us on sight. They could have taken the station in minutes. Instead, they sent a diplomat. They shared their food. They fixed our systems. These are not the actions of conquerors. These are the actions of people who've been both victim and victor, Thresh said quietly. Exactly. And that might be exactly what we need. The alarm started as a low pulse. Then it grew louder, more urgent, more terrified. On the Valiran Council station, every light turned red. Thresh ran to the command center, his heart racing. He knew that alarm. Everyone knew that alarm. It hadn't sounded in 12 years, but once you heard it, you never forgot. The Crethans were coming. How many ships? Thresh demanded. 43, his assistant replied, voice shaking. Standard rating formation. They'll be here in 2 hours. Vesa stood calmly beside the tactical display. We should surrender immediately. Minimize casualties. Surrender? Commander Taewon Han's voice came over the comm channel. The humans had been listening. Who are the Crethans? Thresh activated the visual feed to the Indomitable. Captain Ji-ho Kim appeared on the screen, his expression serious. They are raiders, Thresh explained. They've been attacking Council worlds for 60 years. We have no defense against them. When they come, we give them what they want. Resources, technology, sometimes people. Then they leave. Sometimes people, Ji-ho's voice went cold. For labor, for their colonies. They return them eventually, usually. On the Indomitable's bridge, several human officers exchanged looks. Sora stood beside the captain, her face pale. How many council members have died to these raids? She asked quietly. 3,000 over the years, Thresh said. We mourn them. But resistance costs more lives. We learned that long ago. You learned to be victims, Taewon muttered. We learned to survive, Vesa corrected sharply. Not all species glorify combat, Commander. Admiral Do-hyun Park's face appeared on a secondary screen, transmitting from the carrier group at the system's edge. Captain Kim, what's our status? Potential hostile contact, Admiral. 43 ships inbound. The locals are preparing to surrender. Do-hyun's expression hardened. Recommendations? Ji-ho looked at Thresh. Tell me about their ships. Weapons, tactics, everything. Thresh pulled up files. The Crethans were reptilian, larger than humans, with thick scales and powerful builds. Their ships were brutal, metal boxes covered in weapons, designed for intimidation and overwhelming force. Dahye Cheon, the fleet's xenoarchaeology specialist, studied the data. She had been researching the station's ancient archives for days, trying to understand the beacon that brought Earth here. "Captain," Dahye said slowly, "I found something. The beacon we were summoned with. It's not a friendship beacon." Everyone turned to look at her. "What do you mean?" Sora asked. Dahye pulled up ancient text, her translator struggling with the old language. "It's a distress call, used by peaceful civilizations when they were under threat. They would activate it hoping to summon—" The translation is unclear. "Warriors, protectors, guardians from the dark worlds?" "Deathworlders," Vesa breathed. "The old legends spoke of them. Species from planets so hostile that they evolved into perfect survivors, perfect fighters. The ancient peaceful races would call them when diplomacy failed." "You're saying we were summoned to fight?" Jiho asked. "You were summoned to protect," Dahye corrected. "The beacon recognized Earth as a death world. It called you here for exactly this moment." Thresh felt something break inside him. "We didn't know. We thought it was for friendship." "It is," Sora said gently. "Just a different kind. The kind where friends protect each other." The Cretan fleet emerged from FTL on schedule. Their commander, a massive reptilian named Krax, surveyed the station with satisfaction. Another easy raid. The Council species never fought back. They would surrender, provide resources, and the Cretans would leave richer. Then Krax saw the human fleet. "What are those ships?" he demanded. His tactical officer studied the scans. "Unknown configuration, 24 vessels. Heavy armor, extensive weapon systems. They're positioned between us and the station. Hail them. Tell them to move or be destroyed." The communication opened. Krax found himself looking at a human face. Forward-facing eyes. Predator build. The human looked calm, almost bored. "This is Captain Jiho Kim of the United Earthship Indomitable. You are approaching a protected station. State your intentions." "Protected?" Krax laughed. "By whom? You. These waters belong to the Cretan Empire. That station pays tribute to us. Leave now and we'll spare your ships." "The station is under Earth protection. Your raiding days here are finished. Turn around." Krax felt his anger rising. "You dare threaten us?" "We have 43 ships. You have 24. And we've never heard of Earth. You're probably some minor colony with outdated weapons." "Last warning," Jiho said quietly. "Turn around." "Attack formation," Krax roared. "Show these primitives what happens when you challenge Cretan might." On the Indomitable, Tactical Officer Kangmin Lim watched the Cretan ships spread out. They're using a basic envelopment pattern. No coordination, no synchronized targeting. "Captain, their tactics are at least 300 years behind ours." "They've never faced real resistance," Taewon observed. "Why would they develop better tactics?" Jiho stood. "All ships, weapons free. Fire on my command. Target their engines and weapon systems. Disable. Don't destroy." "Sir?" Kangmin looked confused. "They're raiders, not soldiers." "Show them what real military force looks like. Make them afraid to ever come back." The Cretan fleet opened fire first. Crude missiles and energy weapons splashed against human shields. The shields didn't even flicker. "Our turn," Jiho said. "Fire." What happened next would be taught in galactic history for generations. The human fleet didn't just fight. They performed surgery. Railguns fired with perfect accuracy, each shot disabling a specific system. Point defense lasers swatted Cretan missiles from space like annoying insects. Human fighters launched, sleek, fast craft that moved like nothing the Cretans had ever seen. Yuna Shin led the fighter squadron. Her voice was calm over the comm. "Alpha Wing, take the left flank. Beta Wing, right flank. Disable their command ship first. Precision shots only." The human fighters danced between Cretan ships, too fast to track, too agile to hit. Within minutes, the Cretan flagship was drifting, its engines dead, weapons offline. Krax couldn't believe what he was seeing. His fleet was being systematically dismantled. Not destroyed, That would be merciful. The humans were taking his ships apart piece by piece, leaving them helpless but intact. Retreat, he ordered. Full retreat. Negative, Jiho's voice came over every Cretan comm channel. You're not going anywhere. Marines launched from the fleet. Led by Sergeant Yejun Park, they boarded the Cretan flagship. The Crethans tried to fight. They were large, strong, fierce warriors. The humans were trained soldiers from a death world. The fight was over in minutes. Not a single human casualty. 47 Cretan warriors subdued without killing any of them. Krax found himself on his knees in his own command center, human weapons pointed at him. Yejun stood over him, barely winded. Your ship is secured, Yejun said calmly. Your crew is alive. Your fleet is disabled. You're going to listen very carefully to what happens next. Admiral Do-Yun Park's face appeared on every screen in the Cretan fleet. His voice was cold, hard. The voice of a man who had seen war and hated it but knew how to use it. I am Admiral Do-Hyun Park of Earth. You've been raiding these systems for 60 years. That ends today. Here are your options. Option 1. You surrender completely. You return every person you've taken. You pay reparations for damages. You join the Council as protected members under Earth oversight. You never raid again. Krax felt his pride burning. And option 2? There is no option 2. This is the only choice you get. The alternative is that we hunt down every Cretan ship in this sector and do this again. And again. And again. Until you understand that the age of easy prey is over. Why? Krax asked bitterly. Why do you care? These aliens aren't your people. They asked for help, Do-Hyun said simply. We answered. That's what friends do. On the council station, Thresh watched in silence as the battle ended. 43 Cretan ships drifted helpless. The human fleet hadn't lost a single vessel, hadn't suffered a single casualty. They barely tried, Thresh whispered. No, Vesa said quietly. They tried very hard. They tried not to kill. That's much harder than simple destruction. Sora's voice came over the comm. Council leader Thresh, the Crethans have surrendered. They're requesting your presence for formal negotiations. My presence? You're still the council leader. This is your territory. We're just visitors, friends, helping friends. Thresh felt tears on his face. The humans had saved them, protected them, and now they were stepping back, letting the council handle the aftermath. They weren't conquerors. They really were protectors. Thank you, Thresh said. You're welcome, Sora replied. That's what the beacon called us for. We're glad we could help. The negotiation chamber was crowded. On one side sat the council members, still shaken from watching the battle. On the other side, Cretan leaders sat in restraints, their pride broken but their anger still burning. Between them, Admiral Do-Hyun Park stood with calm authority. Krax glared at the human admiral. You humiliated us. I saved your lives, Do-Hyun corrected. If we wanted to humiliate you, we would have destroyed your fleet. Instead, every one of your people is alive. Every ship can be repaired. You get to go home. That's mercy, not humiliation. What do you want from us? Another Cretan commander asked. Everything we said. Return the people you took. Pay for the damages you caused. Stop raiding. Join the council peacefully. And if we refuse? Do-Hyun's expression didn't change. Then we'll have this conversation again. And again. Until you understand that the galaxy has changed. There are protectors now. You can't prey on the weak anymore. Krax felt something he hadn't experienced in years. Helplessness. His fleet had seemed powerful until they met real power. The humans had disabled 43 ships without breaking a sweat. What could the Crethans do against that? What guarantee do we have that you won't attack us once we're disarmed? Krax asked. My word, Do-Hyun said simply. That's all? That's everything. Humans don't break our word. Not about things like this. Thresh watched the exchange with wonder. The humans held all the power but offered mercy. They could have taken everything but asked only for peace. They were warriors, showing the wisdom to not use their strength. We accept, Krax said finally, the words bitter but necessary. We'll return your people. We'll pay reparations. We'll join your council. Not my council, Do-hyun corrected. Their council. We're just guests here. Over the next few weeks, everything changed. The Krathens returned every person they had taken over the years. Families reunited. People who had been gone for decades came home. The council worlds celebrated. The human fleet remained in orbit, not as conquerors, but as guardians. Captain Ji-ho Kim established regular patrols. Yoona Shin trained council pilots in basic defensive flying. Engineer Hyun Kang helped upgrade station systems. Sora Lee became the first Earth ambassador to the Galactic Council. Her office was on the station, a small room she filled with plants from Earth and artwork from both human and alien cultures. One morning, Thresh visited her. "I need to apologize," he said. "For what?" "For being afraid of you. For seeing monsters instead of people." Sora smiled gently. "You weren't wrong to be afraid. We are dangerous. We come from a dangerous world. But danger doesn't mean evil. It just means capable. Your people could rule the galaxy." "We could," Sora agreed. "But we don't want to. We've seen what empires become, how power corrupts, how conquerors always fall. We'd rather have friends than subjects." "What do you want then?" "To explore, to learn, to help where we can, to find our place among the stars." She paused. "To not be alone anymore." Thresh understood. Humans were powerful, but they were also lonely. They had reached for the stars hoping to find kindred spirits, others who dreamed and wondered and hoped. Instead, they found people who feared them. But fear was turning into something else. Trust, respect, friendship. 3 months after the battle, another signal appeared on long-range scanners. A distress beacon. An ancient one, just like the beacon that had called Earth. Daye Cheon studied the signal in her laboratory. "It's the same technology, same frequency. Someone else just activated a guardian beacon." Captain Ji-ho Kim reviewed the data. The signal came from the far side of the galaxy. A 6-month journey, even with human FTL drives. "Should we respond?" Taewon asked. "We were summoned once," Ji-ho said. "We answered. Now someone else is calling. What do you think we should do?" Taewon smiled. "I think we became guardians the moment we decided to protect instead of conquer. Someone needs help. We should go." On the council station, news of the new beacon spread quickly. An emergency session was called. The council members gathered, no longer afraid of the human delegation that now attended every meeting. "Another beacon has activated," Vesa announced. "Far from here. A call for help." "The humans should respond," said the Quellan representative. "They're suited for this." "We can't ask them to fight our battles," Thresh protested. "You're not asking," Admiral Do-hyun Park said from his seat. "We're volunteering. That's what Guardians do." "But it's dangerous. You could face worse than the Krathens." "Maybe, but someone needs help. That's all that matters." The council voted. Earth was officially recognized as a protector species. The Pacific Defense Fleet became the Council Defense Force. Other human ships would join them, Earth's contribution to galactic peace. But there was a condition. The Council would also begin building their own defenses. Not weapons to attack, but capabilities to protect. The humans would train them, teach them, help them become stronger. "You can't protect us forever," Thresh said to Do-hyun. "Someday you'll need us to stand beside you." "That's the idea," Do-hyun replied. "We're not saviors. We're friends. Friends help each other grow stronger." On the day the fleet prepared to depart for the new beacon, the entire station gathered to watch. Human ships lined up in formation, ready for the long journey. Sora stood with Thresh on the observation deck. "Will you come back?" Thresh asked. "Always. This is home now, too." "I still can't believe all this started because we wanted to make friends." Sora laughed. "You did make friends. Just scarier friends than you expected. The galaxy will never be the same." "No, but maybe that's good. The galaxy was full of prey and predators. Now there are protectors too. Balance." The fleet jumped to FTL, vanishing in bursts of light. But they left ships behind. Earth had committed to permanent protection. Marines trained with Council security forces. Engineers shared technology. Diplomats worked to build bridges between species. And in her laboratory, Daya Cheon studied the ancient beacon technology. She was learning how they worked, how they identified death worlds, how they called for help across impossible distances. Interesting, she muttered, reviewing her data. What is? Hyun asked, bringing her tea. This beacon network. It's galaxy-wide. Hundreds of them, maybe thousands. All dormant, waiting to be activated. How many death worlds are out there? I don't know. But if beacons keep activating, Dai looked up at him. We might not be the only guardians. You mean there might be other species like us? Maybe. Or maybe they're nothing like us. But if they respond to beacons, if they protect instead of conquer, then they're allies. Friends we haven't met yet. The idea was both exciting and sobering. Earth wasn't unique. There were other dangerous worlds out there, other species forged in fire and survival. And they were waking up, finding their purpose, becoming guardians. 6 months later, the Pacific Defense Fleet arrived at the new beacon's source. They found a species called the Miran, gentle insectoid beings under attack by pirates. The fleet defended them, made new friends, added new protected worlds to their patrol routes. And another beacon activated, then another, and another. Earth's fleet grew. Other Deathworlder species began to appear, answering their own beacons. Some were reptilian, some aquatic, some unlike anything seen before, but they all shared common traits: strength, endurance, the will to protect. They called themselves the Guardian Compact, species from worlds that tried to kill them, now working together to protect those who couldn't protect themselves. Humanity had reached for the stars seeking friendship. They had found it, just not the way they expected. They hadn't become conquerors or rulers. They had become something better. They had become the galaxy's shield. On Earth, people watched the stars with new understanding. Their planet wasn't a curse. Their danger wasn't a flaw. Everything that made them terrifying, their endurance, their strength, their refusal to give up, these were gifts, tools to help others. In the council chambers, Thresh stood before the assembled representatives. More species had joined since Earth arrived. Word was spreading. The galaxy had protectors now. Peace had guardians. I propose we rename this station, Thresh said, from Council Station to Guardian Station. A reminder that strength should serve peace, that power should protect the powerless. The vote was unanimous. Sora Lee stood on the observation deck, now expanded to accommodate more species. She watched ships come and go, human vessels, Crethan traders, Valyran explorers, and others. The galaxy was waking up, growing braver. Her communicator chimed. Captain Ji-Ho Kim's face appeared. Ambassador Lee, we have a situation. 3 more beacons just activated. Looks like coordinated attacks on Council worlds. We're responding, but we need more ships. I'll contact Earth Command. More fleets are being prepared. Good. And Sora? Tell them we're not coming home for a while. Too many people need help. They'll understand. Earth always understands duty. She closed the connection and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, people were afraid. People needed help. And across the galaxy, Guardians were answering the call. Humanity had wanted friends. They had summoned Earth's fleet instead, and the galaxy was better for it. Years later, historians would mark this as the turning point. The moment the galaxy stopped being divided into predators and prey. The moment protection became possible. The moment fear turned into hope. All because one peaceful species made a mistake. They had activated an ancient beacon, hoping for artists and philosophers. They had gotten Deathworlders instead, and those Deathworlders taught the galaxy something it had forgotten. That monsters can be heroes. That danger can serve peace. That the scariest thing in the universe can also be the kindest. The Guardian Compact grew stronger each year. More Deathworlder species joined. More peaceful species found protection. And at the center of it all, Earth's simple philosophy guided them. Protect those who cannot protect themselves. Stand for those who cannot stand. Fight so others don't have to. The galaxy had guardians now, and they would never abandon their friends.